A rat sits alone in a metal cage, 2 water bottles, one laced with morphine. It drinks the drug until it dies. This experiment built our entire theory of addiction. But the cage was the problem. For a century, we believed addiction was a chemical hijacking of the brain. The drug enters, willpower loses, the molecule wins, end of story. Roughly 1 in 7 Americans will face a substance disorder in their lifetime. Yet most people who try heroin, even soldiers in Vietnam, never become addicted. That single fact breaks the old model. If drugs simply hijack the brain, why do most users walk away clean? The answer rewrites everything you learned about willpower, chemistry, and choice. The neuroscience of addiction is not what you were taught. The story begins in the 1950s, with rats and electrodes in their skulls. James Olds, a neuroscientist at McGill University, made a startling discovery in 1954. Olds let rats press a lever to electrically stimulate one brain region. They pressed it thousands of times an hour, ignoring food, water, and sleep. He had found the pleasure center. The chemical messenger flooding that circuit was a molecule called dopamine. Some rats pressed the lever over 2,000 times per hour until collapse. Scientists assumed dopamine equals pleasure. More dopamine, more craving, more addiction. Every addictive drug, from cocaine to nicotine, spikes dopamine in this pathway. Dopamine was crowned the molecule of pleasure. For decades, this was textbook truth, but one researcher noticed something strange. Kent Berridge, a neuroscientist at the University of Michigan, began testing that assumption. Berridge studied the faces rats make when they taste sweetness or bitterness. A sweet drop produced rhythmic lip movements, the rat's version of liking it. He then destroyed the dopamine systems in these rats completely. He expected them to lose all pleasure. But the rats still smiled at sugar. They still loved the taste. What they lost was the desire to seek it out at all. Wanting and liking are 2 different things. Dopamine, Berridge realized, does not create pleasure. It creates wanting. Dopamine is the engine of craving. It drives pursuit, not enjoyment. This split explains the cruelest paradox of addiction itself. Addicts often crave a drug intensely while no longer enjoying it. They want it desperately, but they barely like it anymore. The dopamine system grows hypersensitive to cues, not to pleasure. A lighter, a street corner, a needle triggers that scream want. But chemistry was still only half the story. Bruce Alexander, a psychologist at Simon Fraser University, asked a radically different question. Alexander questioned the famous experiment of the lonely rat in its cage. The rats had nothing to do but press the drug lever. So he built Rat Park, a spacious enclosure with toys, wheels, food, and other rats to play with. He offered these rats the same morphine water as the isolated ones. The happy, connected rats largely ignored the drug entirely. Isolated rats consumed up to 19 times more morphine than social rats. Connection, not chemistry, seemed to determine who fell into addiction. Then came an accidental human experiment on a massive scale. In Vietnam, roughly 20% of American soldiers used heroin. Studies found the vast majority of addicted veterans, up to 95%, simply quit after returning home. They left the jungle, the fear, the isolation. The craving faded. Change the environment, and you change the addiction. The drug was the same. The setting was everything. Addiction is not a chemical hijacking. It is a response to pain. The drug is not the disease. It is the desperate attempt to cope. Research suggests the opposite of addiction may not be sobriety alone. It may be connection. This does not mean drugs are harmless or willpower irrelevant. Brain chemistry, genetics, and trauma all weave together in addiction. Modern science sees a tangled web, biology, psychology, and environment combined. But the lonely rat in the cage was never the whole truth. We treated addicts as broken brains, isolating them further from us. The research suggests the cruelest response may deepen the wound. Punishment and shame remove the very connection people need, alongside professional support, to heal. Next time you see addiction, look past the chemical and the choice. Ask what cage the person is trying to escape. The question was never just why the drug, it was why the pain.